All right, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth. Sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. Uh, I'm going to title this lesson right here Do More Research on These Black Leaders. They're frauds. Okay. And, that's pretty much going to be the subject of this lesson, man. We just going to go in a little bit about these black leaders that our people pretty much our people look up to these characters, all right, not knowing that these individuals, okay, have been set up by your enemy. All right, these individuals have been set up by the so-called white man. Okay. All right, and a lot of these individuals, a lot of their appearances, a lot of their speeches, you know their agendas, okay, is carefully thought out by the enemy, carefully thought out by the global elites, man. All right, and they use these characters like puppets to keep you Israelites asleep, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans asleep, right? Like we got this character right here, Martin Luther King Jr. And if you're a Negro in America, okay, you know about Martin Luther King Jr., man. All right. And a lot of our people, they hold this man to a high esteem, right? Thinking that he did something for so-called black people in this country. When really he was nothing but a puppet, okay? Used to, he was basically used to, get Jake to be in a more submissive state, right? So that way Jake, doesn't want to fight against their oppressors anymore, right? Because before Martin Luther King hit the scene, Jake was, pretty much successfully independent, or at least Jake was trying to be successfully independent, right? But Jake understood that the so-called white man, all right, Esau, the Edomites, Jake understood at that time that Esau was the enemy, right? And Jake was pretty much trying to separate themselves from Esau, all right? That's why you got some called the segregation, right? And that was about the Negroes in America being separated from the so-called white man, right? And trying to do their own thing. But then they set up this character, Martin Luther King, right? And what was the premise of his speech? What was his whole agenda? It was to unify you Negro Latinos and Native Americans, mainly you Negroes, because that's mainly who he was speaking to unify you under the banner of Edomite supremacy, right? Because all he talked about is, little boys and girls can play together. The white boy can play with the black girl, and we could all become one people. All right. And with this bullshit ass speech that this nigga delivered, you got Jake to where they at today. You got the common Negro where they at today, to where he don't know who his enemy is. He don't want to admit that the Caucasian race is the devil, right? Jake is the main one preaching that equality. Oh, we're all humans. We're all people. We all bleed the same. Okay? And that's because they set up characters like this, man. All right? And, this little I Have a Dream speech, which was curated, and the main target was you Negroes in America, all right? Martin Luther King didn't even write this, man. Okay? He didn't even write this speech. All right? I'm about to show you something, okay? This is who wrote this speech. A Jewish man, Stanley David Levison. This is the individual that wrote that speech, man. Okay? So Martin Luther King was a puppet, all right, and he was being used, okay, by the enemy, all right, to do, like I said, to bring you Negroes under that banner of, pretty much play along to get along. You know what I mean? Because you don't ever hear no Negro ever talking about, uh, we need to separate from all these other nations, right? We need to set up our own establishments with only us, you know? And if Jake is talking about that black-owned business stuff, he'll still let one of these devils infiltrate his system because Jake has an equality mentality. Jake want to be friends with everybody. All right? And Martin Luther King was nothing but a coon, and he was a nigga that was working very close, okay, with the American government, all right, to bring you niggas, to pretty much put you in a submissive state, to where you ain't got no fight back in you. You don't have any more bright ideas. All right, so let's read a little bit about this. It says Stanley David Levison, and as you can see, he's an Edomite. Okay, he's actually Amalekite. All right, the head tribe of Esau, Israeli. Okay, all right. It says Stanley David Levison was an American businessman and lawyer who became a lifelong activist in progressive causes. He is best known as an advisor to and close friend of Martin Luther King Jr. So he was his advisor. So pretty much this nigga was Martin Luther King's handler. He was the one that was telling Martin Luther King, look, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to say this. Look, we're gonna your public image is gonna be this. You're gonna be the righteous pastor that brings black people under the guidelines of Edomite supremacy. We're gonna use you to do it. He was his advisor, man. All right. It says for whom he helped write speeches, raise funds, and organize events. Look at that. He helped write speeches. And what speech do you think he wrote? He wrote the I Have a Dream speech. All right. Him and some other Negro. I forgot his name. But him and some other Negro wrote the I Have a Dream speech. Okay? Because even though, yeah, you could sit there and be like, oh, well, Martin Luther King was trying to help black people. You could say that, but Martin Luther King didn't tell you Negroes that you're Israelites. Okay? He didn't tell you that you're an Israelite. He didn't tell you that you're from the tribe of Judah. He helped put that stigma on you, that black stigma, that Negro in America stigma, man. All right? And he had devils like this pulling the strings. Right? He had devils like this that was guiding him on how to do so, man. Okay? So that's why, I titled this lesson, you got to do more research on these so-called black leaders, man. And when you go into who these niggas actually are, you come to find out that a lot of these motherfuckers is nothing but frauds, man. Right? Let's get another one. Al Sharpton. And everybody know Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is another so-called black leader. He's always there when a tragedy happens in the black community and people look up to this nigga, okay, as if he's on their side, right? You Negroes look up to this man as if he's on your side. But look what this says. It says, report, Al Sharpton was FBI informant on the mob. Okay? This man worked for the FBI. All right? So he worked for the American government. He worked for the same system that believes in keeping you Negroes down. Okay? Because the American government, well, first and foremost, how was the American government, how was it established? It was established off of the transatlantic slave trade that brought you Negroes here to America and they beat you niggas into submission, man. All right? That's what the American government is. That's what the FBI is, man. The FBI works for the interest of the American government. This man was working for the FBI. He still is. I believe he still is. Okay? Another puppet, man. Watch that movie Judas and the Black Messiah, man. Esau been doing this shit for decades now, man. He been doing this shit for decades, yo. Putting puppets, right? Spies, infiltrating all, he'll send a Negro to infiltrate another so-called black organization. They always did that, man. And Al Sharpton, when he gets up on that stage, okay, he acts like he's for the people, but really he's working with the devil, man. All right? He's working for the devil, man. All right? It says, in a Tuesday morning press conference, Sharpton said that he wasn't an informant, but rather he was merely cooperating with the FBI. Either way, man. You cooperating with the FBI, man. And this is supposed to be a nigga that's supposed to lead you Negroes in America? This nigga's a joke, man. This nigga is a traitor to his nation, man. He working with the devil. He working with Esau. It says, I'm not a rat, I'm a cat. Sharpton reportedly said, according to journalists live tweeting the event, he continued that the only thing he was ashamed of were those old fat pictures that have been shown. Well, whatever. But you get the point, though. This man was working with the FBI, man. And I believe he still is. Because one thing about Esau, okay, once you get in deep with this devil, you start becoming a spy, you start becoming an informant, you start working with the FBI and shit, Esau ain't never gonna let you go. All right? You'll always be in the loop, okay, to push forward the global elite agenda, man. All right? So they set up niggas like Al Sharpton to do it. They set up niggas like Martin Luther King to do it, man. All right? That's all it is. Let's get this scripture right here. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And device means agenda, purpose, okay? Plot. All right? And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, okay, the Lord has given us the ability to look behind the curtain and pretty much uncover the lies, man. All right? And one of the biggest lies that has a fucking monkey grip on you Negroes' minds in America are these black leaders that's been set up. Fucking Tupac and who's another one, man? Farrakhan. These niggas is informants. Martin Luther King was an informant. He was working with the FBI. Okay? Al Sharpton working with the FBI. We're gonna get on her in a minute. All right? But yeah, a lot of your black leaders are nothing but informants and FBI cooperatives, man. Okay? So we're not ignorant of what Satan be doing with these niggas, man. What Esau be doing with these niggas. Okay? When you see a so-called black person, when he has a voice in America, right? He's on the main stage. You know, look at a so-called black person that's on the main stage that's giving speeches out in front of 50,000 people and shit. Just understand that more than likely those individuals are set up by Satan, man. Okay? And Esau is using them for a particular agenda. All right? Let's get this one right here. This is Colossians 2:8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Right. Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech. All right, look at this. Here we go. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the confidence of their character. That's that philosophy and vain deceit, man. Okay? And remember, Esau is writing these clever little quotes that these niggas be coming up with, man. The devil be writing these clever little quotes for these niggas, man. All right? And these niggas is so-called black philosophers, okay, but it's really deceit behind their lips because they know who they work for. All right. Martin Luther King, before he died, he said it out of his own mouth. He said, I feel as though I have led my people into a burning house, right? Because that shame and that guilt, came upon him once he realized what he done. Once he realized what he did. He ain't did nothing but integrate the Negro, okay, into a democratic Republican society that we see today, right? He helped take away the Negro's strength. That's what Martin Luther King was, man. He was a nigga that helped take away the Negro's strength. All right? And they set this nigga up to do that, man. Coon ass, bitch ass nigga. It says, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after a Mashiach. Right. And that's all that these black leaders come up with. All that black activists and unapologetic black shit. Okay? All of that is the tradition of men. Right? Jumping on podcasts, arguing about what black people need and black banks and stuff. That's just the tradition of men, man. It's not after a Mashiach. It's not after Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Because like I said, they don't tell you that you Israelites. They still call you black. Al Sharpton still gets on that podium and calls you Negroes black. He still calls the tribe of Judah black, knowing goddamn well, okay, that we are not black people. All right? These niggas are set up, man. Okay? Now let's get on this woman right here. Because I've been seeing this woman a lot. And you see her on podcasts. And apparently she's like the new black female activist that is headstrong. She's a headstrong black woman. And, I guess she's not taking no bullshit from anybody. Right? And she always has a strong opinion and strong political views. And, apparently, out of her mouth, she does it to help black people. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you that this is another puppet, Candace Owens. She's another puppet. All right? She is another puppet. You see her? And she be jumping all over podcasts, Blackout. Got a book called Blackout. She jump all over podcasts. You know what I mean? And look, here she go right here, throwing up the horns. See? Showing you what side she on. But she be all over podcasts. She be all over podcasts, trying to put that black girl magic right out there in the media. Okay? But you know what? She ain't nothing but a coon. She ain't nothing but somebody that's working for the enemy. Okay? She's working for the enemy. All right? First and foremost, she's involved in politics. Okay? Who controls the media? Who controls politics? The so-called white man. She's heavily involved in this shit. So you got a lot of so-called black women that look up to this goddamn fool. You got a lot of so-called black women that look up to her, man. And that think that she's powerful and she always got something deep to say. But look at this. Let me show you something, okay? Let me show you who Candace Owens is. Let's look up her husband. Let's look up her husband. A straight up Edomite. Look at that. A straight up Edomite. So if she really loves black people, right? If she's supposed to have all this love for black people, how come she don't get with a man of her own nation and forward her race? No, she wants to forward the so-called white man's race. She had a baby with this nigga and all that. She is only concerned with forwarding the devil's empire, man. She has an Edomite husband. She don't even respect the so-called black man enough, right, to build a family with. But she gonna sit here and get up on the podium and tell black people what they should and shouldn't do. She's with the enemy. She's literally laying down with the enemy, man. Okay? And she's going off doing that. Because, there's actually a law right? That says that, the Israelite woman is not supposed to be messing with the heathen men. Okay? She can't, you know what I mean? And she broke that law, okay? And she chose her side, man. Look, George Farmer. Meet the man behind Candace Owens, George Farmer. Behind. So this is the man, right? Because he's an Edomite, so he works for the interests of his own people. And if he's behind her, pulling the strings, what does that tell you, man? What does that tell you? That means that Esau has his hand in this little Candace Owens situation. All right? So whenever I see her, she kind of pisses me off because it's like, this bitch ain't really real. She just, she just another setup puppet, another setup black marcher to keep you Negroes in America confused, man. Let's get this last script. This First Maccabees 1:11. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. And when you go into that word covenant, it's another fancy word for contract. Okay? So motherfuckers like Candace Owens, Tupac, Martin Luther King, Al Sharpton, Farrakhan, these are niggas that made covenant with the heathen. They made covenant with the enemy. They made contracts. They're doing side deals with these niggas. Okay? All right? And they're not Candace Owens is not concerned with forwarding the tribe of Judah's legacy in the earth. She wants to forward the so-called white man's legacy. She's an all-out coon, okay? And she rolls with the enemy, man. It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. All right? So, these coons, these so-called black leaders, they truly believe that, being under the so-called white man is the only way that they'll be safe. All right? That's why it says we departed from them, we have had much sorrow, because they believe that under the so-called white man's guidelines and restrictions, that's where they're safe. So that's why you got a bitch like Candace Owens that'll sit there and give her body up, give her womb up, give her her total soul to a devil, to an Edomite. So if her husband is an Edomite, just imagine who her colleagues are. Just imagine who her associates are. You know what I mean? What Candace Owens is, she's that black girl when it's a table full of rich, wealthy Edomites, right, sitting around having dinner. Candace Owens is that only black girl on the table trying to fit in, doing anything to fit in. Okay? The scriptures say, why trimmest thou ways to seek love? That's a woman like Candace Owens. She get around them Edomites, okay, and her personality change. Okay, she hold back that Israelite woman flavor to appease, okay, the devil. All right? So she's not on the Negro man's side. She's not on the Negro woman's side, man. She wants to forward the legacy of the so-called white man. You see it right here. All right? So, yeah. Just wanted to make this lesson, all right? Just urging brothers and sisters to do more research on these black leaders, okay, and really go into their history, these individuals that's being set up in your face, all right? And you'll come to realize that they've all been compromised, all right? And they're all playing for the other team. Shalom.